Sample 4. Gill irritation after 10 seconds. What the hell? Travers!
What is this? Watership down? I'll strangle the lot of them. Travers, your damn rabbits are out again. This place looks like a bloody zoo.
Professor Worthington, is that you? I can't find that report in here anywhere.
It's in the green folder. Come on, Travers, you moron.
Got it. Everything must have been moved around when they changed the lock.
Carl, the funding committee needs those research papers by midday.
I've organised a courier.
Excellent. Oops. I'll go and find Travers. He can deal with these damn rabbits.
Professor Worthington, get me out!
It's all right, Carl. I'll get the combination off the Rosenring.
Hello?
Rosemary, I need the combination for the vault. Carl's been locked in. Did you hear me?
I've written it on a piece of paper. I'm just trying to find it. Professor? I've got it. Professor! He's in the vault. It's a combination.
What the hell happened to Worthington?
He's dead.
Murder call, Central 10, standing by for VKG.
Go ahead, Central 10.
We have a deceased at this location. It appears suspicious. Could we have Central Detectives homicide and crime scene attend?
Central 10, copy that.
Labs. It's not even Friday afternoon. Double period after lunch, that's when we had to do science.
Ah, not your favourite subject?
Not until year 11.
You didn't happen to have a good-looking teacher, did you?
Miss Devlin.
I'm so surprised.
My dad always said you should keep a few handy.
What's that?
Screwdrivers, so you never know when you might need one.
Indeed.
Carl Tatum, who was locked in the vault, has regained consciousness. Hospital want to keep him in for a few hours, but apparently he is going to be all right. However, the same can't be said for his boss.
He's, Professor Worthington's assistant.
That's right. This is Donald Cook. He owns the laboratory.
His research projects had such potential. Now look at him.
Would this be the research into pheromones?
Yes, he was working on it with his wife.
I read about it in a journal.
Can you tell us why he's in his underwear and what the mask is about, sir?
Well, Richard was always using himself as his own He's his own test subject.
And the professor's wife works here too, is that right?
Yes, Dr. Constance Young. She maintained her professional name.
Was she in the building when the murder happened?
Yes, she was in her laboratory, I believe.
We'll need a complete list of everyone who was here at the time, sir.
Well, we're a very small operation. I can do that for you now, apart from Carl and myself and Dr. Young. There's Dr. Edgar Travers. He's another researcher, and his assistant, Zena, and just Rosemary Stone, Richard's secretary.
And it was Miss Stone who found the body, was it, sir?
The lock on the vault was only changed a week ago. Professor Worthington didn't even try to remember the combination. He'd just leave that to me. I'd go down and open it for him.
And were you here when you got the call from the professor?
He said he needed the combination because Carl had been locked in.
Right. Why didn't you just give him the combination over the phone?
I couldn't find the piece of paper I'd written it on. When I did, I tried to give him the number, but there was no answer. That's when I ran downstairs to the storeroom. He was just lying there on the floor. Those stupid rabbits jumping all over him.
Rosemary, do you know of anyone who might have wanted to kill the professor?
He was very well respected. The work he did, he was the best in his field.
This needs to be faxed. It's urgent. You're from homicide, aren't you?
That's right. And you are?
Dr. Travers. Edgar. I went to get some liquid nitrogen from the storeroom, and that's when I heard Rosemary scream.
Why the level of security in this room?
Oh, there's lots of nasties in here that we don't want getting out.
I'm not one of them.
Zena Sutherland, my assistant.
How do you do, Miss Sutherland? We'd like to speak to you at some stage, Melinda, if that's all right.
Zena, sure.
Thank you.
We've probably got enough viruses, bubonic plague, anthrax to obliterate the entire country. We use them in making vaccines.
How closely did you work with the deceased doctor?
I didn't. Worthington had his projects and I had mine. I'm working on cloning techniques.
Right. Can you think of anyone who might hold a grudge against Professor Worthington?
No. This was his lab. He worked here with Carl Tatum and Dr. Young, his wife. They sit here. Worthington's office was through there.
Professor Worthington was very successful. People like that can fall victim to professional jealousies.
I'll show you his office. Have you been talking to Donald Cook?
Not yet, no. Why?
Oh, it's just that Worthington and I, we always had to compete. There's only so much funding money to go round. It's a pretty one-sided fight, though. I generally finished up with just the crumbs.
How do you feel about that, Dr. Travers?
Oh, look, I'm not stupid enough to kill the man over money. All the funding in the world's not going to help me if I'm in jail, is it? Is it?
Could you tell us where the professor's wife is, please?
Well, I don't know how much I'll be able to help you. Nothing about this really makes much sense to me.
To your knowledge, had your husband received threats from anyone?
No.
Were you in the building when the attack occurred?
I was upstairs in the security room. It's where our lab is. Richard and I have been professional partners for almost 15 years. We always worked on the same projects. I don't know what I'll do without him.
Most modern vaults have got a safety catch. It stops them becoming a death trap should someone get locked in.
This one doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Carl Tatum would consider himself very lucky to be alive. These saves are airtight. A few minutes in one of these and you would asphyxiate.
Fist, did you find any fingerprints on the screwdriver that killed Worthington?
No, I didn't, but look, you have noticed this, haven't you?
Second point of entry.
Right.
Yeah.
So just say Carl Tatum was standing in the doorway there. Dee, could you stand in the doorway for us?
Not
Dee,
gonna
Carl
lock me
Tatum.
in there.
Nope. Could you? Tough. Okay, so the killer, say, comes in through this door. Carl Tatum cannot see a thing, can he?
Oh, it's
All right.
tiny in here.
So the killer comes in, he waits until Worthington turns and moves away. He then locks Carl Tatum in the vault and hides.
So Worthington's making the call to Rosemary, and while his back's turned, the killer moves across.
Yeah, Worthington turns, killer strikes with the screwdriver, pulling the rabbits down as he falls.
Now, look, I've just checked that out. Down there, you've got Cook's office and the other labs. And through there, up the stairs, you run into reception.
So basically, anyone who works in the building could have snuck in and killed the professor.
And Carl Tatum.
That's right. Although he lived, whoever locked him in that safe may have wanted him dead too.
Shall I come out now?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, Dick. Thanks for your help.
Please, take a seat.
You had a lucky escape?
That's what I thought when I woke up. Then they told me about the professor. It's just not fair.
How long have you been working for Professor Worthington?
About 6 months. I couldn't believe it when the job came up. I mean, Worthington, he's just a legend.
Can you take us through what happened in the storeroom?
The vault door, it just slammed shut. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it must have been an accident.
Did you see anyone at all?
No.
Carl, we have to assume that it wasn't an accident, so can you think of anyone who might want to murder yourself or Professor Worthington?
You didn't receive any death threats, anything like that?
No, not really.
Well, what does that mean, not really?
His wife wanted me out. Constance thought I was going to take her place on the pheromones project.
So you and Dr. Young weren't friends, but why would she want to murder her husband, do you think?
Well, it would make the divorce a hell of a lot less messy.
Constance and her husband were getting a divorce, were they?
Yeah. And now she's got the professor out of the way. It's a win-win, isn't it? I mean, she gets to keep the estate and take over the research project, which is what she's wanted all along.
So you and your husband were getting a divorce? Yes, that's right. And why did you choose not to tell us that?
I didn't see that it was relevant. Well, we were partners still. Soulmates, even. I think the pressure of living together and working together just got to us in the end. But you can't be saying this makes me a suspect.
How well did you get on with Carl Tatum, Doctor?
Right. Well, no prizes for guessing who's pointed the finger at me, are there?
Did you resent the fact that he was working for your husband?
Yes, I did. The boy's got no talent. Richard was just too blind to see that.
Did you tell your husband how you felt about Carl?
Wouldn't have done any good. Richard thought the boy was the second coming. I don't know, maybe it was the fact that he'd found someone even more anally retentive than he was.
Dr. Young, is there any way that Carl could pose a threat to your position?
That's like asking you if a 5-year-old with a toy gun could pose a threat to your position.
Come in. What is it, Edgar?
What's going to happen to the funding? I mean, there's bound to be a bit of a shake-up now that Worthington's gone, I suppose.
Yes, well, the committee will have to meet to re-examine things, yes.
Well, the pheromone project's not going anywhere. Not without Richard.
If it's extra funding you're after, Edgar, just put it in writing.
Oh, I will. Yes. That's exactly what I will do. Thank you for your time, Donald. Right. We're in the money.
Constance Young said that she and Worthington were equal partners in the research project.
Yeah, but it was the husband who liked to steal the limelight. It was his name Tootsie recognised, not Constance's.
Yeah, but nobody likes to have the credit for their work taken away from them. And that sounds like it could be a possible motive to me.
Assuming Carl Tatum was also a victim, why would she kill him? She could have just waited until Worthington was dead, then just sacked him.
Well, she appears to be the only one that has a grudge against him.
What about Donald Cook? Now, is there any evidence to suggest that he and his star employee were having problems?
Well, not that we know of.
Well, the way he speaks of Worthington, he has nothing but respect for him.
And we still can't discount him. I mean, he doesn't have an alibi for the time of the murder.
And motive? Let's face it, Malcolm, anyone could have had access to that storeroom whether you worked there or not.
Now, let's stick to the employees, Steve. I can't see the reason to cast the net any wider at this stage.
Where were you when Professor Worthington was murdered, Miss Sutherland?
Zena, I was working in the lab with Dr. Travers.
Right. And did he leave the room at any stage?
Yes, he did.
Right. Would you know where he went?
He went to get some liquid nitrogen from the storeroom.
So when he left, you were alone?
I have no one to back up my alibi, that's right. But I don't have any reason to want Professor Worthington dead.
Do you know of anyone who might?
Maybe one of the million lab assistants he tried to get it on with. He was a total flirt. He couldn't help himself. I was one of the lucky ones, thank God.
In what way?
I was his assistant for a while. But I knew about his reputation, so I steered clear of him. Then when the position with Dr. Travers came up, I jumped at it. I wasn't about to be anybody's plaything.
Worthington is a ladies' man.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to speak to this string of female lab assistants who left because of it.
Get on to Donald Cook, get a list of their names and addresses. Now, I'm going to have to give something to the media because they're starting to make noises about dangerous research, and I don't want to have a public panic on my hands.
Hayden? Yes. I've checked the list of all the employees who entered the security room at around about the time of the murder. Yeah. Constance Young? Not one of them.
She lied.
No, I told you before I was in the security room.
Well, this is a list of everyone who gained access to that room this morning. Your name's not on it.
Okay, I wasn't in the security room. I lied. It was stupid, I know.
So where were you?
Look, I didn't want a million rumours flying around. You can understand that, can't you?
Doctor, where were you?
I was with Donald in his office.
Donald Cook, your boss?
Yes. We've been seeing each other for a while now.
And you felt the need to lie about that, did you, Doctor?
Well, with my husband working there and funding questions, it might have looked a little... I didn't want people thinking that I got special favours. But that doesn't change what I told you this morning. My husband and I were still very close.
Doctor, it didn't bother you at all that while you were working with your husband, he was getting all the credit?
Our professional relationship was as solid as ever, Detective.
Yeah, sure it was.
I had to tell them, Donald.
God knows what they think of us now.
Look, they want you to be paranoid, okay? So don't buy into it. What?
That media release. You laid on the grieving wife bit a bit thickly, didn't you?
It's only a piece of paper. You know?
Donald,
Edgar.
I never had a chance at that funding, did I? Well, I guess this proposal doesn't matter anymore. You two had it figured out all along, didn't you?
Investigations are continuing, and I can't say more than that, but I can assure you that there's no cause for any alarm regarding the research going on at the Cook Laboratory.
Do you think the Professor's murder could be some kind of political statement?
Oh, only me. I just came to pick up my briefcase. I didn't mean to give you a fright.
I'm still a bit jumpy.
Tell me about it.
Environmentalists in a protest against the laboratory.
He hated the fluoro ones. Had to be yellow. Seems pretty dumb now, doesn't it?
No.
See you tomorrow, Rosemary.
You take care of yourself.
If that's the case, Inspector, do you believe the murder was committed by another employee of the laboratory?
Look, a statement will be released in due course. Now, that's all I have to say.
Despite continued public concern, no formal statement has yet been issued by Cook Laboratories. We'll update the developing story for you in later bulletins.
And leading tonight's regional news, controversy and speculation continue over the death of leading Australian research scientist, Professor Richard Worthington. Professor Worthington's death in mysterious circumstances earlier today is being investigated by police and has led to a resurgence of concern about the research activities of the privately funded laboratory.
What are you doing here?
Professor Worthington was the world leader in research into ferronodes and related elements.
Saw you on the telly, sir. Looked pretty good.
Oh, you catch a glimpse of star quality there, did you, Constable?
Oh, there we go, fun. Steve, this has just come for you.
Marked confidential, was it, Constable?
No, there's no cover sheet at all, actually. Nothing to say who it was from. But it's a job offer for Richard Worthington. Guess he won't be needing it now, will he?
No.
What's it say?
It's from a perfume company, basically telling Worthington he can name his own terms. There you go.
Dated the day before he died. If Worthington left, he'd take the pheromone project with him, wouldn't he? I mean, according to his contract.
Yeah, and that means the Cook Laboratories would lose a lot of money.
And prestige.
Whereas now that Worthington's dead, Donald Cook gets to keep the project and Constance Young takes over where her husband left off.
Very cosy for the lovers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had no idea that Worthington was considering leaving. Look, even if I did, why would I kill the man? I mean, it's not going to help me. Either way, I lose his expertise.
So you do intend to carry on with the pheromone project?
Yes, of course. I mean, there's a lot more to this than just perfume. Non-toxic pesticides, natural therapies.
Will Dr. Constance Young be taking over the project?
Yes. Look, you know where I was when Richard was killed. I was in my office with Constance.
And neither you nor Dr. Young left the office at any time, sir?
No. Is that all?
Yes, for now, that'll be fine.
Constance, out prowling, are we?
Carl, I want you out of here by the end of the day. You were Richard's assistant, and it's not as if he needs one anymore, so...
What took you so long? I was expecting to have this conversation yesterday.
The day you got locked in the vault, that would have been heartless.
Constance, I need to talk with you.
By the end of the day, earlier if you can manage it. What's this all about, then? We're at cloak and dagger, aren't we?
Did you know that Richard was considering a job offer from a perfume company?
Well, I had my suspicions, but I didn't have anything concrete. How far would he have got without me? That's what I want to know. Every time he did an interview, I would wait to see if he would give me just a little bit of credit. Did that ever happen? No. Then he was going to take all my work and leave?
Maybe you should have put that in your press release yesterday.
Oh, please, Donald.
Look, what's happening with you? It's as if you don't need me anymore. You just want to push ahead on your own.
Don't be ridiculous.
The police asked me whether either of us left the office when Richard was killed.
What did you say?
I said no. But we both know that's not true, don't we?
Come on, Donald. We were hardly in here playing happy families, were we? You know very well I had to go and freshen up. Well, you can't seriously think I killed him. All right, so I was alone for 5 minutes. So were you. What did you do when I left the room?
Well, obviously...
Exactly. So just keep it together, will you? Before you get us both into trouble.
Met Metal shavings.
Oh, that's gross. Oh, yuck.
Dee, I asked you to put the books away, not read them, so if you wouldn't mind, just keep it to yourself.
Have you any idea what they do to these rabbits?
No, but I have a feeling I'm about to find out.
Oh, look. They cut them, slice them open. Look. Stick things in their eyes, up their nose.
Yes.
Monkeys are even worse. It's absolutely disgusting.
That is true. Many a laboratory animal has given its life for the greater good.
Yeah, only a human would say that.
Look, Dee, it's true. Vaccines, antibiotics, organ transplants, they've all used animals in the early stage of their development. It's science.
Well, science is torture.
Yeah, all right. Well, Dee, I tell you what, you can save yourself a furry little animal. You put yourself up for experimentation.
All right.
Yeah, I believe the pay is very good.
Is it? What are they paying? Carrots? Look, there's no way you get me with electrodes on my brain, that's for sure.
No, Dee, they'd probably use you to try and find a cure for the common cold.
That's what they tell you when you walk in the door. Poor little things.
So don't bother, Constable. I'll get this. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Hello? Imogen. Yes, on my way. Can't wait. OK, hold on to your hats. Now, this is Elaine Reich, who fell 3 floors from the window of her apartment last night.
And why are we here?
You are here because she was one of Professor Worthington's lab assistants who left that job suddenly 5 months ago.
Oh. Bit of a coincidence she turns up dead the same day her ex-boss is murdered.
I was thinking the same thing. Now, could this be our lab assistant with a grudge to bear?
So, was her death accidental or suicide?
No, local patrol. They spoke to the neighbours. She was a loner. Nervous, depressed, all the symptoms.
Tessa?
And it wouldn't be the first time that somebody has committed murder and then decided to pull the plug on themselves.
Yeah. Do we know who the father of the child is?
No.
Oh, thanks.
What are the exact injuries here? Avulsion of the cerebellum. From cerebral hemispheres through cerebral peduncles.
That's inconsistent, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, look, there's nothing specific at this stage.
How pregnant was she?
Oh, I'd say she lives about 6 months.
Tootsie, could we find out if the child was Worthington's? She was working for him 5 months ago. He was said to be a flirt.
You know, if he didn't want to know her because she was pregnant, that's a good reason for her to want him dead.
Do we know what floor this woman's apartment was on?
Yeah, the 3rd.
I see.
What?
What?
Tootsie? Can't say at the moment. You'll have to wait.
Oh.
Just 2.4 metres. Gee, that's interesting.
You want to let me in on the secret?
Maybe take a look inside the apartment.
You want me to come with you?
Yeah. Elaine and Worthington were having an affair. It was kept pretty quiet, but Elaine used to give me the goss.
Why did the relationship break up?
I don't know. Elaine just didn't turn up for work one day. Well, here we go again. Worthington's dumped her. I'd seen it so many times.
Did you have any contact with Elaine after that?
Yeah, she called me up about a month or so after she left, and we got together and had a coffee.
Right. Did she mention Worthington at all?
She was trying to be brave and forget him.
She wasn't bitter at all about the relationship?
No, I wouldn't say that. Worthington broke her heart. But she was seeing this new guy. It was pretty full on. I don't think Elaine was allowed to think about anyone but him.
Did Constance Young know about her husband's affair with Elaine?
Of course I did. My husband would only have to say pass the sugar and the silly little twit would look at him like it was the cleverest thing she'd ever heard.
And how did you feel about the affair?
Embarrassed for Richard. I mean, look, he was making a fool of himself. The girl was very young.
And you didn't feel betrayed, angry?
Yeah, a little. But this was all 6 months ago. If I'd wanted to kill Richard because of it, don't you think I would have done it then?
Was the affair the reason you and your husband were getting a divorce?
No, we were already heading in that direction. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Detectives, we've got a problem. The distance between where Elaine Reich's body ended up and her apartment building
rules out accidental death, right? So that leaves us with two scenarios, homicide or suicide. But take a look at these. And you can see there, she has landed head first. Now, that's not usually consistent with suicide. Jumpers don't, as a rule, dive out the window head first.
Thorne. What? OK, I'm on my way. Fisk, I've got to go to the Cook Laboratories. Do you want to walk with me?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, well, if you were to hazard a guess as to what happened to Elaine Reese, what do you think it'll be?
Well, Malcolm, if she'd have jumped, I would have expected injuries to the lower half of the body, the spine, the legs.
Whereas Elaine Reese's injuries were to her head and face.
Yeah, now, if she'd have lived any higher than the third floor, there would be other variables that would affect my decision. But judging by the biomechanical forensic evidence, suggests she was pushed.
Murdered.
Yep. Well, that's the way it looks.
No, there's no sign of forced entry, so whoever took the anthrax used the swipe card to get in here. Anything?
Nothing. Security measures must be put into place immediately.
Yeah, well, they have been. They're on the way. Look, what we have to do is stay calm and organise a search.
Calm? Do you know what anthrax can do?
Yeah, look, we do, all right? Just take it easy.
Do you know who might be responsible for this?
I sacked Carl Tatum this morning. Maybe it's his idea of payback.
This is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I've looked everywhere. I've looked in the reception, my office.
Storeroom.
Hey, Carl Tatum's locker?
Right.
No, nothing.
All right, this one. Anything interesting?
Just pages and pages of lists. Looks like things he has to do, things he has to order.
Yeah, well, what's this? James Alicia Morgan. Looks like a Christmas card list, huh?
You found it?
No, not yet.
We have to secure the building.
Yeah.
The printout you wanted of everyone who's been in the security room. We're all on there, so it's not going to help. You're not going to find it in there.
Well, how do you know?
Well, if Carl took it, he's not going to put it in his locker. He's going to keep it somewhere where it's going to stay cold.
Like a thermos flask? Not good.
No exit, I'm afraid, sir. Thank you. May I have a look in that, please? You can open it, please. Careful, sir, careful.
I should have seen it. I should have seen all of it.
Seen what, Dr. Travers?
The pair of them were carrying on right under my very nose. Stupid, stupid.
Well, who were carrying on?
Constance and Donald Cook, of course. Who else? And to think that I believed him every time. My day will come. That's what he always said, and I believed him. Oh, I wouldn't have gone through with it. The threat, I mean, I just wanted to give him a bit of a scare.
And what about Professor Worthington, Doctor?
What about him?
Well, if you were this upset about the funding, sir, it's not a huge leap to think you might have killed Professor Worthington for the very same reason.
Now, listen, you caught me with the vial, that's all. You've got nothing to prove that I killed Worthington. And the way things worked out, I wouldn't have got his funding money anyway.
Maybe he stole the vial to throw us off the scent, distract us from the murder.
Maybe, but it didn't work, did it?
All right, what have we got? We've got two murders. We have the murder of Worthington, the murder of Elaine, and the attempted murder of Carl Tatum.
You know, the person who has the motive for all three murders is Constance Young. Excuse me.
What if Carl was just in the wrong place at the wrong time? That would leave us with the murder of Elaine and the murder of Worthington.
Is it possible that Elaine killed Worthington and then was killed herself? Like we've got two murderers?
No. I think the same person killed Worthington and then Elaine.
Well, Constance Young is the most obvious person.
Detective Vance. Right. OK, thanks, Tootsie. Worthington was the father of Elaine Reese's baby.
Well, that makes Constance Young very angry, and at the risk of sounding like a broken record...
Yeah. All right, she would have been angry, but think about it. Her husband was an incredible flirt. I mean, Constance wasn't the only woman he would have left feeling bitter and twisted. Zena Sutherland.
Yeah.
She was Worthington's lab assistant before Elaine Reish.
Yeah, but she said he didn't try anything on with her.
She said. Right. But what if he did? You know, what if they had an affair? He dumps her, then Elaine Reish steps into Zena's shoes, becomes pregnant to Worthington.
Yeah.
Zena may well have wanted to teach them both a lesson.
Well, making yourself at home, I see. Didn't take you long, did it? Let's hope you're as quick at doing the filing, Rosemary, because I want everything up to date by tomorrow morning. Good night.
James, Alicia, Morgan. What is that, a Christmas card list?
She was seeing this new guy. It's pretty full on. I don't think Elaine was allowed to think about anyone but him.
Fisk.
Ah, I'm glad you're still there. It's Tessa.
I certainly am.
Listen, I need to ask you some questions.
Anything, Fisk?
Not yet.
Hello? Yes, just a minute, I'll transfer you. Might be a second. Oh, Dan. Hello?
Zena, has Mr. Hampton called back yet?
I think I just cut him off again.
Oh, Zena!
I'm not a receptionist. Find out where Rosemary is.
Did she not turn up today?
It's the first sick day in history. She's too scared to show her face, if you ask me. She went on a rampage last night and trashed Dr. Young's office.
Yes, I don't think we need to tell the world about that. Can I help you with something?
Oh, we just need to have another look around. We can manage by ourselves, thanks.
If you must. Try and get the calls through to me next time, dear.
Okay. Start it here.
Yep. This is where Rosemary said she took the call from Worthington.
Okay. 1 minute 40.
Okay, pick up the pace. Rosemary said she ran.
3 minutes.
Okay, Rosemary has to get here, see the body, scream, Travis arrives.
Rosemary gives me the combination. Right, he goes to fold.
Right, it takes a few seconds, fiddling with the combination.
And open the door.
So you took a bit of time, did you?
No, we couldn't have gone any faster.
Well, what was it then?
4 minutes 15.
4 minutes 15?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm glad we managed to track you down. There's just a couple of things we need to go over with you.
Hey, I'm unemployed now. It's not like I've got a lot to do with my day.
Okay. In Rosemary's statement, she said that she came here from reception when she heard that you'd been locked in to let you out of the vault.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, we timed it, and including Rosemary's reaction to seeing Professor Worthington dead and handing the combination over to Dr. Travers, it would have taken at least 4 minutes and 15 seconds to open the vault. Now, we know that there's not actually enough air inside the vault for you to have survived that long.
Man, I was lucky, wasn't I?
I don't know, you tell us.
Well, I lived, so I'd have to have been.
Mr. Tatum, you recognise this, do you?
Should I? Screwdriver's a screwdriver, right?
Well, no, that is the screwdriver that was used to take this lock apart. We found some metal shavings. You probably hadn't counted on that. Because this is the same screwdriver that was used to kill Professor Worthington.
We know you did it, Carl. We know you disabled the lock. You came out of the vault, killed Professor Worthington, and then you got back inside the vault before Rosemary.
She's crazy, man.
Just like you were crazy for Elaine Reish, Carl.
Huh?
Elaine Reish.
We found this in Elaine's apartment. It was squashed down in the bottom of the drawer. It was buried like she was trying to bury you, forget all about you. You thought the baby was yours, didn't you?
You even made a list of names.
Elaine loved me.
And you found out that she'd been sleeping with Professor Worthington.
Shut up! Shut up! He deserved it! They both deserved it! No, Carl!
I'll get the combination.
Rosemary's the only one with the combination. She's not here. Carl!
You had to reach down somewhere!
Carl and the pregnant woman were seeing each other. There was also a list of names in Carl's notebook, the babies' names. He was planning for the birth of Elaine's baby, thinking he was the father.
And that's when he flipped, when he found out it was Worthington's baby.
You got it.
I might as well have put a gun to his head. Pushed him too hard.
Tessa? You right?
I've locked the keys in the car.
Well, we can use mine. Huh?